Yes, good afternoon everyone and welcome to today's Vanarama National League South clash between Oxford City and Bath City. I'm Mark Stillman, commentator for this match, with Bob Chester summarising. As usual, City cruised to a home win last week, so yet again they'll be hoping to right their wrongs on the road, where they failed to score 3 times, resulting in 3 1-0 defeats. And the players are making their entrance now. Oxford City in their traditional blue and white hoops, blue shorts, blue socks. Bath City, a very odd arrangement of light blue shirts, black shorts and white socks, which is a combination I don't think I've seen before, and I suppose it's one of the days where you could have done with a third choice kit, in all honesty.
Well, yeah, that's the point, but how often are you going to use a third choice kit? And at the end of the day, they've moved it around and got the combination that means it's easy for the referee to referee the game and not get any confusion about who's on which side.
Exactly. Well, we'll go through the lineups now, starting with the Romans. The back five, same as it has been every game this season. So in goal, Ryan Clark, an Oxford resident. The back four of Joe Rains, captain Anthony Strako, opened his account last week. Robbie Cundy, a former Oxford City man, and Jack Batten. The midfield three of James Morton, Sean Rigg, and Adam Mann, all have a presence. And then up front, Andy Watkins and Ross Stern supporting Ryan Brunt, who scored 2 last week in his cameo appearance before being substituted. On the bench for City, Kevin Amankwa, Matt Richards, Frankie Artus, John Mills, and goalkeeper Kieran Hodges. Dan Ball's exclusion is because he is actually carrying a shoulder injury, quite literally. For Oxford City, they look like they're playing 4-4-2 and have made 2 changes from last week's defeat at Slough. In goal is Craig King. Fullbacks of Eddie Jones and Ben Jefford. Centre-backs Luke Ruddick, former Bath City man, and the returning Udoka Godwin Malif. Midfield looks like it'll be Zach McEachran and Kyron Wiltshire on the wings, with Reese Fleet in the middle alongside Josh Ashby, and up front leading marksman Matt Patterson and Kabonga Shimanga. On the bench for Oxford this afternoon, Carl Stewart, who drops out, Craig Fassenmaid, Mike Atkinson, Artie Krasnicki, and goalkeeper Tom Carter. Joe Osler is out of the 16 as he is suspended. The officials this afternoon, the referee is Ryan Atkin, assisted by Ian Stewart and Zach Jackhart. As the game is now underway, back to James Morton, pass to Joe Rains, getting an early touch in the full-back position, right to venture forward past halfway, still going Joe Rains, inside to Sean Rigg. Pass to start for the Romans, who've had every touch on the ball so far. Here's Straker, tries to find Adam Mann going through, but it's well covered in the end from Duco Malif. Plays it back to goalkeeper Craig King. Long ball over the top, looking for Patterson, but Jack Batten wins a header. Picked up from Ashby in the centre circle. Back to the left-hand side, Ben Jefford, who scored against City for Sutton a couple of years ago. And the advantage played from the referee. Then the left-hand side with McEachran. Still going to the penalty box, and it's deflected behind for the game's first corner.
It's down the area where our vision is somewhat impaired, but you got all that right, Mark. Well done.
Looking for your own free-painted class. Here's Shamangan on the edge of the box with a shot and over the top of the crossbar. I think Clark had it covered, but the first attempt on target for either side, and it falls to the home side.
It's cementing that place and perhaps moving up a few positions to make sure that
Shamanga, the Congolese, going forward. He's escaped Joe Rains, got Patterson up ahead of him. Got Wiltshire on the right, might want to go alone. Shamanga, he does, but shoots into the side netting and goes behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, very, very good run by the Oxford City player.
Button there coming forward, not under pressure. It's allowing him to stride forward, and a good ball in fact to Adam Mann. Too easy. Here's screams from the Oxford players. Here's Adam Mann going for on goal and drags a shot on his first shot on target from Bath City. A comfortable enough save from Craig King, but good ball control there from the midfielder. 2-1s in 2010 and 4-1 Jefford with a good ball up to Shamanga, turned away from Rigg. Perhaps the liveliest player so far for Oxford. Here's McEachran, gets into a shooting position, it takes a deflection, it goes behind, I think it was off Joe Rains.
It was a tough
Rigg, bouncing further forward, good move this from City. Here's Andy Watkins, cutting inside, but loses out. It's out to Rigg and bounced up rather awkwardly, and that's resulted in a poor shot which has gone wide of the post.
Find something else in the future.
Stern's delivery to the North back post, looking for Batten, headed across goal, it's well saved, and no, he's given a free kick the other way. In fact, it was Watkins who looked at him and brought down. I didn't see a flag on the far side. I think he's indicating shirt pulling. It might have been on Batten when he played the ball back in. That's the first real test for Craig King so far, and he was up to it. Here's Ross Stern on the left-hand side. Let's watch from Jones. Oh, he's turned inside the net expertly. Ross Stern, the ball towards the back. Oh, it comes off the head of Andy Watkins. I think he's facing the opposite way. Jefford forced near the corner flag. Not the best of clearances though. It's picked up from Rains, marauding forward inside to Stern. He might shape up a shot from Ross Stern. Oh, he's only patted away in the end from King. Went to pick up the loose ball. Ashby's got there first. Terrier-like midfield. Played it forward now to McEachran. This is good for opening for Oxford on the edge of the box. McEachran gets a shot away, and it's high, wide, not very handsome, over the bar. I think it bounced up in front of him. They've all been sort of conceded the one at Chelmsford, and Oxford might want to add one here. Shamanga charging through, still battling his way through. Shamanga, and it's well ushered away in the end from Joe Rains, and that in fact is the final action of the first half. It's a familiar pattern to all of Bath City's away games really this season. A slow start, it's got a bit better as it goes on. At 0-0 half-time, few complaints really. It's Oxford in attack now with McEachran. Oh, he's managed to win the ball back off Rains. Back inside now to Patterson on the edge of the box. Oh, he's dragged a shot and just about gathered from Ryan Clark. Morton, central, just inside his own half. Plays a good ball forward to Brunt. It's got Rains was in space on the far side. He's managed to find him now. Ryan Brunt's done expertly well. Rains, a bit of time on the ball. Shapes it back into the penalty area. Now it's Rigg trying to turn away from trouble. He's gone back to Joe Rains. Rains dinks it up. This is Rigg again. Oh, it's nicked off his toe. It's gone as far as Brunt. It's deflected behind. Keeper, I think, perhaps had it covered. The defender got in the way, and Oxford can try and break again with Zach McEachran steaming past the halfway line with a good ball to Patterson on the left. City are slightly stretched here. Cundy's coming across. Patterson, I think it was an intended cross. It's gone behind. Here's John Mills, who's coming on for Andy Watkins. Yeah. Maybe they thought something had happened in the first half. They thought we'll give him a go for the first few minutes, and whatever he's had, perhaps he's not run it off. Well, this is a rare opportunity for John Mills to play alongside Ryan Brunt. Anyway, here's Button, who bravely ducks in the way of Shamanga. It's a kick in the head for the Troubles, and he takes a quick free kick as well. Adam Mann, he's got Rains up ahead of him on the right-hand side. Mills going through the middle. He's found Joe Rains inside the penalty area. Plays it across goal. It's not a bad ball. It's just about evaded Ryan Brunt. Here's Shamanga. Skips the shackles of Rigg and is fouled from Button right on the edge of the penalty area. So they only left one man back in Jefford. That's what Ashby would do with this one. He does go for goal, and he's only at the side netting with a slight deflection. Ryan Clark has gone down. Whether he's collided with a post.
I think he's collided with the post, yeah.
Could have been a heavy whack there for the 36-year-old, and immediately treatment has been called upon.
It is Mills and Brunt up front, which some people have talked about, saying how would it work. We'll find out a little bit today.
How it works here with Rigg, gets the ball in towards the far post. Adam Mann heads it back across goal and into the back of the net. Adam Mann, who turns 28 tomorrow, it's an early birthday present. A lovely header back across goal. King no chance. Oxford City 0, Bath City 1.
And that's about a quality cross. Just something simple out on the left-hand side. Throw in. Sean Rigg is given time to look up and cross. Delivers the perfect cross, and then missing it by the far post is Adam Mann, who's switched out to the right-hand side, playing more forward, and he meets it with a lovely downward header that then nestles in the far corner of the net. And an excellent goal. City now 1-0 up. That's in the 63rd minute, and Adam Mann's second goal of the season.
Ashby inside of him again. Still Ashby. City at the moment, basically down to 10 men. Here's Shamanga trying to get away from Cundy, played across goal, and it was in the end, I think, a vital interception from Patton. And his free kick went through a crowd of bodies. Going to hurl a long throw in, which Patterson gets a flick on, and Ashby's unmarked here. He's turned back inside. Ashby, oh, well charged down in the end from Patton because City were momentarily asleep. Morton loses out. It's Shamanga turning away from trouble under pressure from Joe Rains, wide of the penalty area. Shamanga got options ahead of him. He's managed to find Ashby, who lines up a shot, takes a deflection and into the back of the net. Ryan Clark couldn't get both hands behind it. I think the deflection did him no favours whatsoever. Oxford City on 69 minutes are back on level terms. Oxford City 1, Bath City 1.
City's done all that hard work. It's been undone really by a bit of sloppiness in midfield, really, giving the ball away and then not closing down and seeing the danger.
Well, Bob Chester and myself could be Sonny and Cher singing "I Got You Babe" at the end of this if it's another 1-1. Here's Adam Mann though, hoping to make sure that doesn't happen. Floats it towards the far side. Riggs is able to chest it down. Rigg on the edge of the penalty area. Brunt's behind him, just on the edge of the box. Played out now to Ross Stern. Into Wards, and then he found Brunt on the final touch. Goes behind of an Oxford head. Although they don't agree with the decision. Bath City have a corner.
On the strongest shot, but the deflection made sure it went out the way.
Dern's corner, and he's all played against himself in Wiltshire. Appeals a handball. It wasn't deliberate. He's picked up from Morton with a good ball to the right hand side now to Adam Mann. Sends it towards the back post. Wall cross! It's gone wide from Sean Rigg. He should have scored. It was almost a replica of his goal against Weston-super-Mare. Similar position, not similar placement. That should have nestled into the back of the net.
Lovely cross from Adam Mann, left foot, and as Sean Rigg went up, I was thinking to myself, that is a goal.
Looks like James Morton's afternoon's over. I think that's the first time he's been substituted.
Yeah, I must admit, do you know what? As that was happening, I thought it's time for a change. He's just looking a bit tired, and it's time for a change. Who's coming on?
Frankie Artis.
Still 1-1 here. City gone ahead through Mann in 63 minutes, but Ashby equalised 5 minutes later.
Brunt allowed to chest it down and play it off to Sean Rigg on the left-hand side. Footwork from Rigg. Sends the ball across. It's a good one. Brunt underneath it. Oh, what a save from Craig King. Brunt's header looked destined for the bottom corner, and King has thrown himself in the way, and he has injured himself in the process. Missed part of
corner coming over.
Yeah, it's corner, which Brunt's trying to head. In fact, it's Button. Oh, it's a looping header. And again, King, this time with a save higher, just underneath the crossbar. Bath City have another corner, and they look very threatening. Here's McEachran. A bit scrappy down his right-hand side, but tidied up from Joe Rains. Brunt. Rigg in space now, around 35 yards from goal, still going forward, Sean Rigg, and drives a shot, and it's a comfortable save in the end, low to his left-hand side for Craig King. His man heads it towards Mills, he's trying to get away from his man, which is Ashby, but to be fair, Ashby's done well and cleared it past as far as Rains. Now Rigg towards the edge of the penalty area. Sean Rigg might want to line up a shot. He has to go wide instead to Anthony Strako. Chips in to the middle. It's just ahead of Brunt. Oh, and in the end, it's volleyed wide. I think it was Mills who was sneaking in behind him. It's Fleet, Shamanga. Turn.
Jack could well get booked now. I think he is, because I think the referee has eventually made a decision that, or Jack's made the decision for him.
Second yellow of the season, so joint most alongside Anthony Straker.
When they regroup, they are very, very solid.
Ball forward has taken a fortunate deflection. It might run to Brunt. Wiltshire got there before him. Still Ryan Brunt on the edge of the box. Ryan Brunt forced out. Adam Mann. Oh, it's a couple of deflections. It's run kindly in the end. Oh, it nearly run to Stern. It's now it's Joe Rains. Lines up a shot into the bottom corner and into the back of the net. As sweet a strike as you are likely to see, and what a time to get it. 2 minutes in the stoppage time. Oxford City 1, Bath City 2. The Bathonian has done it again.
Yeah, they couldn't clear the ball at all, and the ball came out to Joe Rains, right in line where I was with, and he stuck it from about 20 yards, probably just slightly to the right of the goal, and you could just see it from here. It was just going to channel all the way just inside the far post, and no more than I think City deserve. The ball came out to Joe Rains, and it was a perfect shot to give him his second goal of the season.
The ball over the top. Button should get there first. We played 5 minutes of stoppage time, and that's the end of stoppage time. Bath City at the death have recorded a 2-1 win here at Oxford, their first ever league win here, only their second away win of the season. They opened the scoring through Adam Mann's header on 63 minutes, cancelled out Josh Ashby's deflected strike, which flew into the top corner. Ryan Clark couldn't get enough behind it on 69, and then the second minute of stoppage time, Joe Rains popped up with a late winner. He'll love it. We loved it, Bob. And a great 3 points for Bath City.
Most definitely.